Hello, movie lovers. It's Friday. Yeah, we're here with Bob here, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It's Friday afternoon. So we're going to talk about the movies I watched this week. So let's get started. Got my trusty book. I watched John Wayne. It's on TCM here in Toronto. I watched You Wore a Yellow Ribbon. You know that movie, John Wayne, right? He's a Union soldier, Indians. No need to discuss that. It was on TCM. I had TCM on. John Wayne's coming up with You Wore a Yellow Ribbon. So I sat here and watched it. Then I watched A Hard Day's Night, TCM. Hard Day's Night with the Beatles, running around playing songs, guitars, Ringo going for a walk. Most of you probably know that movie also. That was on TCM. Oh, I gave She Wore a Yellow Ribbon a 7. John Wayne movie, it's okay. Nothing wrong with it. Hard Day's Night, I gave an 8. It's the Beatles. I went to this show. Went to the show, yes, here on Yonge Street. I was 13 years old and in love with the Beatles. So I gave that an 8 because it brings back memories. So I also own the movie. I also own the movie She Wore a Yellow Ribbon. But anyway, it was on TCM, so I watched it. Another TCM movie that I don't think I own. I don't think I do. Sometimes I'm not always sure, but I don't think I do. It's called Sergeant York. Most of you movie buffs know Sergeant York with Gary Cooper, right? 1941. Based on a true story. Young gentleman up in the woods, way up in the woods, right? Gets to go into the army, right? So he doesn't like killing people. But anyway, he turns around and he kills 25 Germans. And he captures another 132 of them in one day. The Battle of, what was it called? Argonne? Yeah, Gary Cooper. 132 captured Germans. He killed 25 Germans. He picked them off like they were turkeys. One in a line, shot one, shot another one, shot another one. So that was it. The Germans gave up and he walked down the hill with a bunch of Germans. It's a very good movie. I've seen it a few times, but I watched it again because you can watch these movies again and again and again. Some movies again. That's all I always say. So the only thing, and a lot of people say the same thing, is that this Sergeant York guy was like, I don't know, 20 years old or 22 or something like that. Well, when he got into the army, right? Now Gary Cooper, he's like 40 or 42 years old playing this part. So if you get beyond the fact that Gary Cooper was a little bit old to be playing Sergeant York, but that's, it's like, it's okay. Forget about that one, right? Let it go. Because that happened a lot in movies. People played, older people played younger people, and you don't really think much of it. So Sergeant York, I gave it a 7. It's a pretty good movie. You could watch that again. And then I watched A Night to Remember. A Night to Remember. Kenneth More, Honor Blackman, and David McCallum, a young David McCallum, later to be in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and CSI, or NCSI? Yeah, for years. Anyway, 1958. Story all about the Titanic, the sinking of the Titanic. Now, this Titanic movie is pretty well, maybe one of the best ones ever made. It's made over in Pine Studios over in, I think over there in England. So this is a very good movie. It's all about the Titanic, although it's about the people too. But the fact of the matter is, it's mainly about the Titanic, right? There's not too many stories going on, right? So the story is the Titanic. So I give this one an 8 out of 10. A very good Titanic movie. I also watched Out of the Past. This was on TCM, film noir, right? With Robert Mitchum, Jane Greer, and Kirk Douglas, and a young, well, at the time, pretty young, Dickie Moore as a deaf and dumb. I don't know why they call it that, but he was deaf, I guess, right? I don't think he was dumb, but he was deaf. And he was Robert Mitchum's brother at the gas station. They owned the gas station together. So one day this guy shows up, right? And he gets Robert Mitchum to go off to go do one more job. So his one more job is going to find this girl that ripped off Kirk Douglas for $40,000. So Robert Mitchum is sent after her to go get her. So that's a story. Can't tell you the ending, of course. I don't want to ruin it for you. But probably more than likely a lot of you has already seen this movie. Out of the Past, 1947, film noir, TCM. Like I said, I might have this, but I'm not sure. I give it a 7. 7's pretty good. It's a pretty good movie. I've seen it before. Laura, and the other one I watched was Laura. Now everybody pretty well knows Laura also, right? I watched this on TCM. I have this movie also somewhere in the collection. But it was on TCM and I watched it because I like it. I can watch it again. So, a detective investigates the slaying of a beloved ad executive. And he learns the more he comes under her spell, the more he falls in love with her. There's a picture hanging over the fireplace. And he's investigating her death. Somebody blew her away with a shotgun. Or did they? See? Or did they? Anyway, he keeps going back and forth to her apartment. Right? Vincent Price is in it also. Yeah, Tina Andrews and Vincent Price and of course other actors. But I'm not here to make big long videos, right? So anyway, that's Laura, and I gave that an 8. An 8 out of 10, TCM. The other one I watched, The Dead Don't Die. I think Harry watched this too this week. The Dead Don't Die. Pretty sure it was Harry. The Dead Don't Die, yeah. Peaceful town of Centerville. Quiet little, neighborhood, a few 500, 600 people living there. They got a guy. I like the scenes in the gas station. There's a young guy there in the gas station, right? And he also has a memorabilia store. I think there's a copy of Eerie 9 or 11 or something, or an early issue of Eerie magazine sitting on the counter. That got my interest. But yeah, he's selling memorabilia from inside the store, right? So I thought that was interesting part of the movie. So yeah, Bill Murray and Adam Driver are two sheriffs, right? Deputies or whatever. And the axle on the Earth's kind of shifted. So the Earth's a little shifted. The light, daylight's a little different. Anyway, the zombies start walking around, killing everybody. So it was all right. But if you watched it once, this movie, The Dead Don't Die, you can watch it once, but it's not a movie that you'd watch again. I watched it once. I probably will never watch it again. I probably won't even buy it. You know what I mean? Later on, tomorrow, next year, I wouldn't buy it. It's okay to watch once, but I gave it a 6. And then I watched Hanna, which is Hanna right here, Hanna. 2011 Hanna, starring Kate Blanchett and Eric Bana. A young girl and her father are out up north in the woods, ice, like cold, and they're in a cabin. Anyway, he teaches her all this stuff, right? How to stab people with knives and kung fu, and he teaches her all this stuff. So she gets to be, 14 maybe? 14? Something like that. So now it's time for her to go into the world. So he goes off first and takes a bus and a streetcar and a subway and a bus and a train, and he gets into town. She gets picked up by these people that are looking for her, right? Gets taken to this place, and they start, interrogating her and stuff. And she breaks out, kills a whole bunch of people. Yeah, kills them all. And then they go searching for her, right? Kate Blanchett wants her. Yeah. You'll find out if you ever watch the movie what it's totally about, but you have to watch it. It's all right. You can watch this one. You can watch again if you feel inclined. Hanna, 2011. I gave it an 8. I liked it. Very interesting movie. Then I watched Jay. Are you listening, Jay? I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah, I watched it again. This is the 4th time I watched it. It's on the movie channel here in Toronto, on the movie channel that I, pay monthly for. So I sat here and watched it again. I like it. I thought it was a bunch of fun. Yeah, and I really loved the ending of it. The ending of it, it's a freaking riot. I gave that a 9. I think I gave it a 9 before too. It's very good. It's a very fun movie. All right, then I watched Lucky Day here in Canada. Lucky Day here in Canada. Lucky Day I watched on Crave TV, the movie channel, here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. This stars Luke Bracey, Nina D'Ambrio, and Crispin Glover. Glover? G-L-O-V-R. He's been in a few movies. Anyway, Luke Bracey's character, he's in jail, right? He gets out. He's a safecracker. He was in jail for a couple of years. Now he gets out and he wants to be on the straight and narrow. He wants to be a good guy, right? So this other guy, a hitman, right? He's roaming around the neighborhood, killing people, shooting them and blowing them up and everything else you can imagine. And he's looking for this safecracker guy that just got out of jail. There's a lot of blood in this one. There's a scene in art. She's selling art, right? This girl, the safecracker's girlfriend, wife, and the guy, Crispin Glover's character, gets in there with a friggin' machine gun and starts blowing everybody away. Blood splatters all over the walls and everything. Fucking crazy. Anyway, I gave that a 6. Lucky Day. I won't be watching that one again anytime soon. So it's okay for one watch, right? But there's no need for another one. Oh yeah, and then I watched I'm No Angel, 1933, with Mae West and a young Cary Grant. Not Gary, Cary Grant, right? I'm No Angel. So Mae West, this character, she's in the circus. I guess they call it the circus, right? Anyway, she sticks her head in a lion's mouth, and she starts making a lot of money. A lot of people go and see her and stuff, and she ends up getting hooked up with this millionaire guy. You have to watch it to understand it. Mae West. It's one of those early 1933 movies where they kind of the film, the code wasn't totally, wasn't into effect. There was a few movies in the 30s, let alone the 20s, the 30s, right? Before the code, right, came into effect. There's a lot of double meanings in these movies, especially Mae West movies. I don't think it was this movie, but she said, what was the other movie she did? Was it the one with W.C. Fields? I don't even know if I got that one. My little chickadee. Well, she says, is that a gun in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? Anyway, I'm No Angel, Mae West and Cary Grant, 1933. I gave it a 6. This one you can watch again, maybe not tomorrow, next week, but another year from now you can give it another watch. Then I watched The Third Man. The Third Man. British, made over there in Britain in Pine Studios. I'm pretty sure it was Pine Studios. Orson Welles and Joseph Cotton. Trevor Howard. Trevor Howard was in a lot of movies. And it's narrated by Cotton. So this is the American version, right? And Cotton's on a manhunt for Welles. Cotton's a pulp fiction writer. And for some particular reason, he's hunting for Welles' character, right? So it's pretty good. But you have to watch it to understand it. It's kind of hard to explain, I guess. So I gave it a 7. It's all right. You can watch this again, this one again too, then maybe next year. So I gave it a 7. The Third Man, 1949. I also watched The Wild Bunch. The Wild Bunch? Yeah, 1969. William Holden, Robert Ryan. It's 1913. These cowboys, it's near the end. They're robbing banks and robbing trains, and, you know, everything's catching up to them, right? Things are catching up to the robbers and the bad guys and stuff like that, right? So, yeah, it's even got Strother Martin in it. Yeah, doing Strother Martin. He's hilarious. But anyway, Ernest Borgnine, Robert Ryan, and William Holden. A good old Western movie from 1969, and I give that an 8. So yeah, so they're in town. To get in the movie, they ride into town, they're gonna rob the bank, right? Yeah. And the Holy Rollers are walking down the street singing, you know, "You Are My Sunshine." And they're in robbing the bank, right? So what happens, right? They run out of the bank, and the guys up on the roof, Strother Martin and all these other characters, Robert Ryan, they're up on the roof, and they start blasting at these guys, the soldiers, the guys robbing the banks. And the people are walking by singing and being happy and merry, and they all start getting blasted and shot, and everybody's shooting everybody, and it's a friggin' madhouse. Crazy. People are getting blown away here and shot here, and everybody's shooting everybody. It's, oh man, oh man. Anyway, The Wild Bunch, 1969. I think I saw this at the show too. I think I did. Yeah. What else did I watch? Oh yeah, I watched Standing in the Shadows of Motown, 2002. This is all about the Funk Brothers, the people that played the music for the Supremes, Four Tops, Temptations, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye. All those people from Motown had to have a backing band. Well, there was one. Yes, there was. A bunch of gentlemen from the late 59 to early 70s, I think it was, when it was ended over, right? But these guys played a lot of hits. They were on a lot of hits, a lot of hit records. Standing in the Shadow of Motown, the Funk Brothers. Yes. It was a similar movie, The Wrecking Crew. It's all about the record crew, right? The people that played on the Monkey albums and Turtle albums and what else? Like all those, you know, the Gary Lewis and the Playboys. Those guys had the Wrecking Crew, right? Hal Blaine, right? The drummer and stuff like that. But yeah, Beach Boys. But that was the Wrecking Crew. So this movie I watched was Standing in the Shadow of Motown. I give it an 8. I gave it a big 8. Love it. I love music. I love music. I got thousands of 45s, hundreds or thousands of albums, CDs, you know, I don't know, a whole bunch of stuff. Lots of stuff by music. But anyway, that's this week. And I do hope you're all staying inside, even though, but now you're probably all getting a little bit antsy, right? You want to get out. Here in Toronto this week here in Toronto, it's been cold. Cold, damp, cool. Sometimes the wind's blowing. It's not a good week at all, so we're not antsy yet. But I can imagine, once the sun starts coming out, you know, and the weather warms up, oh, I don't know, people will be wanting to go out and play. But it's not over yet, people. We're just in the middle of it, I guess. So we still got a long way to go. When's it going to end? Who the hell knows? I don't know. But I'm staying in. That's it. I have no intentions of going anywhere. So stay safe. Keep watching those movies. Play a few albums here and there if you got them, right? And stay cool. Relax. Smoke a joint. Until next week. Aloha hui.